So, what does it really take to build an AI factory? When you think about it, what comes to mind? Probably robots, complex algorithms, right? Well, it turns out the real secret, the key to the whole thing, comes from a company you might not expect, NVIDIA. And what they've learned is going to completely change how you think about your own operations. Okay, so what in the world does a cutting-edge AI company have to do with the day-to-day grind of a factory floor? I mean, they seem like two totally different worlds, right? But believe it or not, they share the exact same secret to success. And it's the one thing that truly matters above all else.
So, to really get this, we need to do what the title of this explainer says. Begin with the end in mind. Let's take a look at NVIDIA's grand vision. Because they aren't just building fancy tools or software. No, they're building something much bigger. They're basically creating the digital brains of the future.
And they're tackling this idea of intelligence from two totally different angles. First, you've got Nematron. This is a large language model, an LLM, and its whole job is to understand the abstract world of language, of text, of ideas. Then, on the other side, you have Cosmos. They call it a world foundation model, which is a cool name for an AI designed to understand the physical world. How things actually move, how they interact, the basic laws of physics.
So how do you even begin to teach an AI to understand language? Well, the scale it's just mind-boggling. To create Nematron, NVIDIA fed it, get this, 6.3 trillion high-quality language tokens. You can just think of tokens as little pieces of words. That massive, insane amount of information, that's the entire foundation of its intelligence. Okay, so that's language. What about understanding actual reality? It's the exact same playbook. To teach Cosmos how our physical world works, they basically had it binge-watch 20 million hours of video. That's how it learned about motion, physics, cause and effect, just by watching a gigantic mountain of visual data. So you have to ask, right? How is any of this even possible? What's the secret sauce here? What's the one thing that connects these two incredible AIs and lets them understand both language and the physical world so well?
Now, your first guess might be the algorithm, right? Some super complex, genius-level code. And look, the algorithms are brilliant, but that's not the real source of the magic. That's not where the power is.
The real secret, the thing that makes all of this work, is the data. It's that simple. The success of both AIs comes down to what they were trained on. They're powerful because they were built on this foundation of massive, high-quality, and, this is key, validated data. It all comes back to the data. And this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the first rule of AI. Garbage in, garbage out. I mean, just think about it. What if NVIDIA had fed those models messy, incorrect, or just plain old garbage data? What would have happened? You'd get a completely useless model. It wouldn't matter how brilliant the algorithm was. And hey, just to pull back the curtain on some of the jargon here, when we say model, don't let your eyes glaze over. It's not some mystical black box. Honestly, just think of it as a mathematical formula. Like this simple example on the screen. It's a model that predicts weight from height. It just takes in data, finds a pattern, and makes a prediction. Now, obviously, AI models are way, way more complex than this, but the core idea, it's exactly the same. Find patterns in data to predict what's going to happen next. All right, so we've seen how it works in NVIDIA's pristine, perfect world of data. Now let's bring this whole lesson back down to earth, back to the often messy reality of a factory floor. And this is where things get really challenging. This brings us to maybe the single most important question you, as a leader, can ask if you're even thinking about AI. Forget the fancy software, forget the algorithms for a second. Just ask yourself this one simple thing. Is the data my factory produces, is it actually correct? Is it clean? Is it reliable? Because let's be honest, unlike NVIDIA's beautiful, clean data sets, the reality in a lot of factories, well, it looks a lot more like this. We're talking paper-based work orders, typos from manual data entry, machines that don't talk to each other, no real-time metrics. This is the garbage data we were just talking about, and it will absolutely kill any AI project before it even gets off the ground. Okay, so if that's the reality, if the data is a mess, how do we even begin to build towards that vision of an AI-powered factory? Where do you possibly start? And here it is. This is the single biggest lesson we can take from NVIDIA's success. The first step you need to take, it isn't to go out and buy some fancy new AI tool. Nope. It's to fix your fundamental data problems first. You've got to build a rock-solid foundation before you can even dream of putting up the skyscraper.
So, what does that look like in practice? Well, it gives us a really clear strategic path forward. Step 1. You have to define your destination. What business problem are you actually trying to solve? Be specific. Step 2. Build your foundation. Put the systems in place that can capture accurate, real-time data. And then, and only then, do you move to Step 3, applying intelligent tools like AI to that beautiful, clean data to get real results.
And that leaves us with the final, ultimate takeaway from all this. The big question you need to ask yourself before you even think about building an AI factory. Are you ready to build a data factory? Because an AI strategy at its core is a data strategy. Get that right first, and you're not just improving your factory, you're building the future.